Hi everybody, welcome back. We're still working on our Stamperia Spring Botanic album, and we've got the inside back cover to do. And as I've mentioned before, we're going to put a little notebook here. And I want to show you the notebook. I purchased this on Amazon, and I'll put a link for it down below if you want to buy one. They come in a set of 3. I forget what the price was. I want to say it was like $12 and change for 3. And I was just going to use like a drugstore one, but I didn't really like them. They weren't quite the right size, so I went on Amazon to see what I could find. And they had these Right in the Rain all-weather notebooks, which I thought would be perfect for a garden. So I had intended, because I'd only seen it online, and this cover is ugly, and I thought, well, I'll just decorate the cover. I'll put something on it. But when they came, I realized that this is not actually the cover. It's just sort of meant to be removed, I suspect, because when you open it, there's this cover, which has metric and imperial measurement rulers on it, and it's definitely weatherproof. It's kind of plasticky, but it's very attractive. It's matte. It's not real shiny. And then, as you can see, it's got this sort of vintage type inside. And the pages, it's hard to describe how they feel. Supposedly they're weatherproof, but they feel like paper, but with maybe a coating of some sort. And I don't know if you can see, let me see if you can get that. They're lined, but they also have a vertical little light dotted line, so they're also gridded. Just really terrific for garden, I would think. And of course you can put whatever you want. If you're not doing a garden journal, you could even just, you know, mat this and not use the notebook at all. And then when you get to the back, let me go ahead and close this. All right, hang on, I'm being awkward here. All right, so this is the cover that we're going to remove. And then the back cover, it's that same plastic sort of cover. And then on the inside is, turn it this way, more little rulers and metric conversions. So it's really a handy little notebook. And as I said, there's 3 in the package. It's really nice. So we're going to attach this here. And what I'm going to do, I thought about it a little bit, the best way to do it. You want to be able to swap it out easily. When you're finished with this notebook, put another one in. So I'm just going to put a belly band, and I'm going to put it up near the top so that when you slide the book in, it'll catch at the top of the belly band and won't slide all the way through. I thought about doing a pocket and tucking it in, but I just thought maybe if you'd had this out in the garden and it was a little grubby or whatever, the inside of that pocket might get grubby. So I think a belly band's going to be our best bet. So let me give you the measurements for that. Set this aside, and again, I'll have a link for this down below. All right, so you need to cut a piece 5.5 by 2.5. I'm making the belly band fairly chunky because I don't want it to tear. I want it to have some strength, and we'll probably even double mat it just to make sure it's a good sturdy belly band to hold that notebook. So take this piece, put the long edge across the top and score each end at 1/2 inch. All right, and then just fold and burnish. So that's going to go up along here. Okay, and I made it a little bit narrower than the cover, so I just want to make sure that the mat that I had previously cut is going to fit. And it is not quite, but I only have to take a hair off, so I'm just going to trim a hair off of that. So I previously cut it 4.5, and I'm going to take it down to 4 3/8. And let's see. Yeah, that'll be fine. So I just took 1/8 inch off. And let me re-ink it. I need to reorder some ink. running out, I think. All right. And I'm using my art glitter glue. You can use your double-sided tape if you prefer. Something like this, I do recommend a good strong liquid glue. You can use your double-sided tape, as I said. However, you don't want something that's going to let loose. It needs to be strong. And I should have measured before I put glue on, because in this case, where this belly band goes actually is important. So we want this belly band to be 3/4 of an inch down from the top. So I'm going to turn this over to make my life a little easier. I'm going to lay the ruler, move that, I hope you can see, lay the ruler right there on the 3/4 of an inch mark. I hope that's straight, I can't really see, but I'm going to assume that it is. And then just lay one end down and then the other. Okay, and then I am just gonna fiddle with it. All right, and before it dries down too thoroughly, I just want to test and make sure it's not too low. Nope, that's perfect. Okay, so about 3/4 of an inch is good. And I'll go ahead and burnish that down. Scrap. All right, that is excellent. Then let's go ahead and insert the mat. Make sure I'm putting it right side up. This paper is directional, like that. And I am going to just reach up under here with my art glitter glue. Well, I'm being kind of awkward about that. To glue down the top part of the mat. And then the bottom. All right. And now we need to mat this. And as I said, I think I'm going to double mat it just because I want it fairly stiff. Artisan cardstock is a good weight, but I still want to add a little more. Let me see. Just for your knowledge, I used, for this, all the craft that I used were scraps from a previous project, but I did cut one full sheet, and I may cut another sheet, depending what I use for the side pocket inserts, but I'm leaning towards using the craft for that, so if so, I might need another sheet. Right, so let's measure this. All right, so this finishes at 4.5 by 2.5. So I'm going to cut this 4.25 by 2.25, and then we'll put something else on top. So that scrap that I just picked up is 4.25 inches wide. So that's handy. All right, so put that there. Start with that, and then we'll see. Oops, my pin for my glue. this way you can take this little notebook out to your garden while you're working outside and make notes and sketches and whatever you need, and then bring it back and tuck it right into your pretty garden journal that you've made without having to take your journal out where it might get wet. Let's see what kind of small scrap I have that I could add to that. Here's my notebook. Let's see, off camera here, I've got my whole stack of scraps. All right, let's see what I got. I don't need a lot there. I just want to add a little something, something. Well, that's pretty good. Just about the right size, too. All right, let's just use that. No need to obsess over it. Just need to trim a teeny bit off. Let's see. I think I could take just a hair more off. Perfect. All right, so this, it's a scrap, so it could be a funny size. It's 1 inch by 4 1/4. But, you know, you can put whatever you want here. It doesn't have to be exactly what I'm using. I'm just using this because I have it. This has a direction. All right, so this is the correct way. Another thing that you could add if you want, oh, pardon me, if you wanted to, is a loop for a pen. I don't think I'm going to do that. But you certainly could. You could also leave this, like you could just glue this at either end instead of all the way across like I did. And that would give you a tiny little belly band right there if you wanted. But I'm gluing it down because, as I said, I want to add stiffness to this belly band. All right. Let me put my pin back in my glue. And let's remove this. I'm wondering, I guess I can just tear it off. It just comes off. And we could glue something to this, but I'm just going to leave it because this part of it is all weather. If anything I add is going to make it no longer weatherproof. That is just perfect. The color is good. Now you can see our book still closes nicely, no problem. All right. So now everything has been matted. We just have our front and back cover and spine to do, and start with making our embellishments. And as I said, I'm not going to make too many sort of fancy tags, I don't think, because there's so many beautiful cut-aparts with this collection. But I will make some, and we need to do our side pocket inserts, and I think we will do that next. So let's measure and see what we want. I think 6 inches in height is going to be best for those, and I like mine to stick out a little bit. Let's start with 4 1/2 and see where that takes us. 6 by 4 1/2, and trying to decide. I still haven't decided what color. I'm going to start with the craft. I may do 2 craft and 2 green. I like to do that. Is mix up my side pockets. And let's see how that is for size. Well, I was supposed to cut those 6. I cut it 6 1/2. Of course, it's not going to fit. All right. All right, I think that's perfect. 4 1/2 by 6. And I do like the look of the craft. And let me see. I'm checking to see what I've got in the way of green scraps, if I can cut one. All right, let's see how the green one looks. Is less obvious. I'm just playing to see what I like better, or if I want to use both. They're a little wide too. I'm gonna have to trim them down because there's a, there's this fin from the spine, and they're hitting that, and rather than struggle with it, I'll just trim these another 1/4 of an inch. You know what, I think that I will go with 2 green and 2 of the craft. All right, so like I say, I cut those 4 1/2, so let's try 4 1/4. Yeah, 4 1/4 is better. All right, so we're gonna put that. I'm thinking. Let's hang on 1 second. I'm debating with myself. I'm gonna grab a new sheet of cardstock, which you don't have to do. You can just do just what I just did. And cut those 6 by 4 1/4. Let me try something. Might or might not do this. I'm taking a piece of cardstock and I'm cutting it in half, so 6 inches by 8 1/2. 6 by 8 1/2. Grab my scoreboard. I'm going to score this at 4 1/4. We're going to see about making a little folder, or even a booklet maybe. All right, 6 by 4 1/4. That over and burnish. Yeah, okay, that's what we're gonna do. So you're gonna need, for each, if you're gonna do the booklet version, you're gonna need another sheet of cardstock. If you're gonna make 2 green, 2 craft, you'd need 2 sheets of cardstock, 1 green, 1 craft, or 2 sheets craft, 2 sheets of green. But either way, you need 4 pieces that are 8 1/2 by 6. All right. So a single sheet of cardstock will get you 2. And you might have scraps. And if you don't want to use any more cardstock, because you've already used a fair bit in this book, you can just go ahead and make the singles, which would be 4 1/4 by 6. And I'm going to set these aside because I can still use those for tags that I cut. So let's cut this 4 1/4. Excuse me, furnish it at 4 1/4. use all green. I have more green than I do craft cardstock. So put that there. Now we're going to put something in those. So let's do 1 and 2. And this is just about possibly going to guarantee that I might need another I may need to cut into the other collection, but we'll see. Because they don't have, those don't have to be fancy. Just do something on the border. There's the other 2. This notebook, I noticed, slides around a little bit side to side. So you could make this smaller, but I don't really want to because I don't want to risk tearing it by forcing that notebook in and out. And I think it's fine. It's not moving around that much. There's our little booklet covers for the pockets. And what I think I'm going to do with these, let's put the last one in, is, remember I showed you that pad, hold on, I've got it right here, that I have that has this lined paper and grids and stuff. I think I'm going to put some of these inside those so that, for instance, let's take this one out. All right, so here's the little booklet, and if I put, and these are a little rough on the top, but that's okay, I'll just trim that. Put these, something like this, even on just one side, this could become maybe a shopping list of seeds that you were going to buy that year or plants, and then maybe use a piece of ledger in another one, or just plain lined paper where you could put some other information you need. You know, this could become a planting calendar, or when you sowed particular seeds. This one is, let me see, it's hard to see this one, it's very faint. This one is lined paper. There's another one that's a lined paper. It's a pretty pink one. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is make these something you can pull out and make notes in. Now, if you're not doing a garden journal, by all means just put some photo mats in here, and you can put photographs. And what I think I'll probably do is put the lined gridded paper on this side, and then just a plain mat on this side, where maybe a sketch or a photograph of your plants or your garden could go, or your child working in your garden would be fun, your grandchild. And then we'll do something decorative, maybe just a strip here and a tab. Or maybe I need to, let me think about that, because it's going to go in this way. So the tab would have to be on just one side only, because you don't want to seal it shut with the tab. All right, let's go ahead. Let's just make one together and see what we come up with. So I think, I love this pink. All right, I'm going to start, let's see what I've got. So I do that, and then I have this piece of craft that I had previously cut and didn't use. So I'll trim that down to go there. I don't care for it very much with the pink. I think it goes well with this piece of lined paper though, so we'll use that. Let's cut those to size. So those need to be this taking into account 4 1/4. I'm going to call it 3 7/8 for mine. Yours is going to vary because you've got this crease now, so it's not a perfect by 5 3/4. So 3 7/8 by 5 3/4. How's that? Good. I think I've mentioned before, I've got the Fiskars Precision Paper Trimmer, and I like it. It does a good job. But anything you need to cut between 5 1/2 and 6 is not easy because it's got a hinge right there. It's the only reason I might replace it because that's the size I use a lot. Okay, so those can go there. Now, do we want to? I think we're going to round those corners, but not a lot. We'll use the 1/4 inch round. If you don't have one, don't worry about it. You don't need to do it. But I think I will. And I'm also going to round the corners of the base. I think 1/4 inch. I might use the 1/2 inch. Let's see. I think, yeah, just the 1/4 inch is fine. It makes these things easier to slide in and out, I find, if they've got a rounded corner. And then the ones that are going in the book, let me see if I want to do all 4 or if I just want to do the outer. I'm going to do all 4. Oops, missed that one entirely. Oh, there we go. Now, if you're making this for yourself and you're not giving it as a gift, and you know exactly what you're going to put in each of these little booklets, when you do the cover of the booklet, you could even put, you know, sewing schedule, plants to buy, bedding layout, you know, whatever you're going to put in there. If you're giving it as a gift and you don't know exactly what somebody might use it for, then we'll just decorate the front plain, and that's what I'm going to do. Because I love gardens, I love gardening, I love watching gardening shows, but I do not garden. I live in Florida. It is extremely hot, and I just don't. And winter is actually the best time to grow, if you're going to grow vegetables down here, because it's so brutally hot and sunny that it's difficult to grow vegetables in the summer. We have two beautiful botanic gardens actually within minutes of me, so I can get my fix there. And our little town hall area, city center, also has raised bed plots that people can use if they haven't got any land at their own home, if they live in an apartment or a condo, so that's really nice. I'm just checking to see if this has a direction, and it doesn't really, so I'll just go ahead and put it down. Oh my goodness, it's not very straight. That's good. All right, what did I do with my, here it is, my baby wipe. Well, now I'm just thinking I was going to put these in with the fold out. I'm still leaning towards that, but I might be able to put them with the fold in. And if we did that, then it might be easier to add a tab or and that actually goes pretty far in, so I think it needs a tab, or if not, a tab, and I could punch a hole in it and put a ribbon, which would be pretty. I kind of like the idea of tabs, though. Let me think about that. All right, let me cover this. And again, I don't want to use... Now, if you're using 2 full collections of this, then by all means, you know, fully mat this front and back. However, I'm trying to make this in such a way that if you make it the same way I do, you don't have to use 2 collections. I don't know if I mentioned, in case you don't own this paper, the Stamperia paper only gives you 1 of each sheet. I like the looks of that, or it could go inside. The problem with doing this is if you put a partial mat and not a full mat, it can catch when you put the book in, which is not a big deal. It's easy enough to just work with it. I kind of like the way that looks, though, for this one anyway. I don't have enough of it to do all 4 of them. Okay, I'm going to do that. And what I'm going to do here, as I mentioned, I'm just going to bruise this with my finger because it's hard to cut anything in that neighborhood on my cutter identically, one after the other. So let's just see if that works easier. Let's see. Yeah, that is fine. All right. And this way, if you want to add a title later, you still can. And you can still add a tab to it. I'm putting it inside where the rounded corner starts. You could put it right on that edge if you want, but I like the look of it in a little bit. Now for the tabs, you have a few options. They do make tab punches. I don't have one. I often will use, I'll just eyeball that by the way, like a circular punch out a circle, fold it in half, and use that as a tab. I think I may just use something much simpler this time and just fold a square in half. All right, so then this piece goes there. It's a hair short, but that's okay. Anyway, so just a scrap of fabric paper in a rectangle or square, and just cut it, fold it in half, and make that my tab. So I don't really want to fuss too much with the tabs. And I'm just going to do the same thing on this side. And you don't have to put tabs. You could close these with a ribbon if you wanted, and then you'd have little ribbons running down your book, which would be cute. Okay, so that's going to go in there. Right, you see what I mean? Where, because I put that on there, it's catching, but it's easy enough to just push it in the rest of the way. Now, let's see what we have that we could use. I'm looking for scraps. There's a little scrap. I didn't even measure that. I'm just folding it over just to see. And yeah, that'll work, but it's a little bigger than I want. So let's see. This is 2.5. Think. No, it's 2 3/4. Let me see. So I trim that down to 2 1/4. Let's see how that looks. Now if I put it on that side, it's going to interfere a little bit with the writing, but not much. I think that looks good. That's what we're going to do. But let me round the corners just to make it look a little bit more polished. Whoops, that's my fancy rounder. I just want a plain round with a 1/4 inch. So I'm going to fold it in half. I'm going to do all 4 corners with it folded in half. There. Okay. So now we have something that looks like that. And I'm going to put that there. About. All right. And let's ink it. And the other thing that I'm going to do, because I have a mind like a sieve, is write down what I said. 2 1/4 by 1 1/2. All right, let me write that down. I can find a pen. So that when I go to make the other 3, I won't have forgotten. All right, and let's see. I think I want to put this with this part up. Just go ahead and run some glue. I don't want the tab sticking out too far. So, oops, put it about a little more than halfway. So I left about 3/8 of an inch, almost a half sticking out. Those are going to stick out the edge of your book. Okay, if you don't like that, don't put the tabs on. I personally am okay with that, so, because it is a working book. No, but again, if you don't like that, just either don't put the tabs on, or you can still put the tab on but put it a lot further in. And I'm kind of wondering if I can do that, even though I already pressed that. I didn't, because it is sticking out a little bit further than I like. What I could do is trim it and re-corner it, but I think it's okay. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's okay. Haven't decided. Okay. I did want them to stick out, but that one is honestly sticking out a little further than I like. But I like it when the book's open. It's only when the book's closed that I don't care for it. Still tempted to see if I can remove it. I really can't, not without ruining it. All right, hang on. This is what we get when I just wing it. Every now and then you get something that's... I really like the way it looks. I just feel like it's sticking out just a hair more than I want. I'm just going to trim it down and re-round it and re-ink it, and then I'll make the... just make the others smaller. Because I really only want it sticking out a little bit. And, oops. We'll put this one towards the back of the book. Re-ink. I think that's going to be much better. So let me give you a new measurement. So cut it 1 3/4 long, and then fold it when you fold it in half. Or cut it the same size, but just put it a lot further down than I did. Let's see how that is. Oh, that's much better. Yeah. Now it's still going to stick out, but not so far. Okay, good. Much better. All right, so go ahead and make your, attach your notebook, whichever notebook you're going to use. And I will link to the ones I use down below. And then make your 4 side pocket inserts. Don't bother with tabs if you don't want. Use a tab punch if you've got one. I left mine, let me show the overhang just so you know, since I futzed around with it so much. It's now sticking out just shy of 1/4 of an inch, okay? There we go. All right, so get all that done, and I'm not sure how long this video is running, but I think I'll end it now, and then we'll come back and we'll do all of our embellishing, which shouldn't take us too long because we're going to use a lot of the stuff that came in the collection and not too much else. Oh, and we still have to do our covers too. Okay, so I'll get those planned, and then we'll do that next time. So we'll do the covers, and we should have time also to do some embellishing and inserts. All right, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. And please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so that you know when I've uploaded a new video. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.